starting off a little rocky this morning. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. Welcome to the Franklin County Board of Commissioners General Session for July 28th. Happy birthday to my twin sisters, Jude and Ann. I won't give their ages on this call this morning. I'll certainly cause myself a lot of heartache if I do that. As a reminder, this morning's meeting is a public meeting and is being recorded. We ask kindly that you maintain the same level of decorum that you would as if it were an in-person meeting. And finally, for those of you that are calling in by phone, please ensure that you have muted your phone by pressing *6. Thank you. We will begin this morning's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Boyce. So,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right. So we this morning we have another honor to welcome, as we do annually, the Job and Family Services Emerging Leaders Class of 2020. And as we've been saying, 2020 is an interesting and unique year, so they get the honor of being the Emerging Leaders Class of 2020. It's the 8th year of the Emerging Leaders Program, which is a continuing education and professional development program that prepares Job and Family Services employees for the next step in their career path. This year's graduating class received leadership training, which offers a unique insight into the JFS agency as well as an overview of all of county government operations. I invite JFS employee Gabrielle Winnell to offer a description of the program and to please introduce this year's class of emerging leaders.
Good morning, Commissioners, County Administrator Wilson, and everyone else.
It's good to see you, Gabrielle, when we are not on Facebook.
It's good to see you too, in a brand new way. So I'm Gabrielle Winnell. I'm the Deputy Director of Quality Support Services for Job and Family Services here at Franklin County. I just said that. I'm pleased to be here to present this year's graduates. It's the 11th cohort of our agency's Emerging Leaders Program. This is the first year that our training department has administered the program. And so back at the beginning of the year, our incredible training team had really brought some fresh perspective to the curriculum. And then we started in February, and a pandemic changed the way we do everything. And so we had to take a pause and figure out the best way for us to pivot. And I really think the team did. I think the program that we came out with is actually even better than the one we started the year with. So we did everything through Microsoft Teams, which was new for us. The emerging leaders themselves still got to learn from Director Bivens, County Administrator Wilson, and the rest of our executive leadership team. But they also spent a lot of time doing work together on topics like inclusive and transformational and servant leadership. And they learned a ton from each other through that process as well. As a cohort, they definitely had the most unique experience this year. And I would say that every single one of them stepped into that challenge and really engaged with the process. It's been a pleasure to work with them. So if there are any questions, I can answer them at this time.
This is always such a great program, and the people that go through the program have been so incredibly good at really learning so much and doing well afterward. Do you keep the information on what happens to the employees afterward? Are they doing better? Are you evaluating afterward how it's changed their professional development after the program's over with? I know we've talked about it in the past, and anecdotally, I know you know, but do you keep that data?
We do. Before today, there are 101 people who have graduated from the program. And of those people, 50 have gone on to be promoted either within our agency, at another commissioner agency, or at a state agency.
That's great.
So this is a tremendous leadership management tool that it's unlike anything I've seen in the past. You guys are doing a fantastic job here, and look forward to doing this every year and getting to see and hear from the folks who've graduated through the program. But I'd be curious to hear from the folks that are the graduates today about the challenges of doing this. I mean, look, it's kind of like any other educational experience online in some ways, but reading about county government online, or reading about your own agency online is one thing, but I've learned over the years that experiencing it is the best way that I've been able to grasp all of this. And so I'd be curious to hear from some of your folks, the challenge of learning, going through emerging leaders during this pandemic, and having to do it, differently this time because of the virus and the challenges that you guys had.
Gabrielle, why don't you go ahead and allow them to introduce themselves and go through who the graduates are, so then they can, how about that?
Absolutely.
And they can tap them in. Okay.
Sure. So it is my honor to present our first emerging leader, Mr. Stephen Adkins.
Good morning, commissioners and guests. My name is Stephen Adkins, a part in Cohort 11 Emerging Leaders Program. I have been with Franklin County for 16 years, and I currently work for FCDJFS Fraud Unit and currently supervise 8 investigators. My future goal is to seek further management advancement opportunities within Franklin County or the state. In this program, I have learned not only the nuances of being an effective leader, but also challenges leadership brings. However, one takeaway I would like to add is that being a leader, we must be resilient to adapt to any situation in order to accomplish any goals. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself to all of you and the support you provide in continuing our leadership development. Now I'm turning it over to Ms. Mary Dries.
Thank you, Stephen. My name is Mary Dries. I have worked for Job and Family Services for 11 years, and I'm currently a case manager in the Child Care Department. By completing the Emerging Leaders Program, I have learned the value of leadership and the required skills to be an effective leader. I have learned leaders must be flexible and ready for change at a moment's notice, as we have witnessed with the current pandemic. I can bring the knowledge learned from the program to a leadership role to be the bridge between Franklin County, its residents, and our community partners. I thank you for your time and consideration, and it's my pleasure to introduce Jordan Kokert.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jordan Kokert. I've been employed for Job and Family Services for nearly 8 years in multiple different areas, all of which were designed to help combat barriers for our residents. I have a passion for helping people. I strive to continuously improve myself and those I interact with every day, and I'm always ready to jump into the next thing. Thank you for the time today and allowing us to briefly introduce myself. The next cohort member is Siobhan Jones.
Thank you, Jordan. Hi, my name is Siobhan Jones, and I'm present for change. I'm in my 7th year of service with Job and Family Services and currently a member of the Emerging Leaders Group. With the changes our community is experiencing amid the COVID-19 pandemic, it has been imperative as a leader that I remain the linkage between our customers and our programs. One of my main goals is to assist customers experiencing hardship in Franklin County map out their own version of self-sufficiency. One takeaway from emerging leaders is that change is inevitable and a continual process. However, with the correct tools, energy, and direction, you are bound for success. Thank you for your time and your continued opportunity to serve my community. Next up, emerging leader, Aaron Larson.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Aaron Larson. I started at FCDJFS 6 years ago as a temp in the call center. Today, I'm a management analyst with the project management office. Recently, I managed the upgrade of our entire agency's computers to Windows 10, and I'm currently building a new system to more efficiently process PRC applications. I enjoy complicated problems, assessing different approaches, and managing diverse teams. The Emerging Leaders Program has helped me identify some of my natural strengths and how I can apply them to a future in leadership. I appreciate your time this morning, and I would like you to remember my name as I continue to grow. Now I'd like to introduce my colleague, Tony Mclean.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tony Mclean, and I enjoy being the person to spread sunshine and cheer and boost positivity in the agency. I have been in the agency for 4.5 years, and I currently represent the county agency in the hearings unit. The Emerging Leaders cohort has definitely taught me to find my passion, and I am very passionate about transforming a community to build a bigger community of champions. Thank you for the opportunity to share my unbridled positivity with you all, and I will continue to spread this cheer among my peers. Thank you. I will now introduce our final cohort member, Devin Chavis.
Thank you, Tony, for that lovely introduction. Good morning. My name is Devin Chavis, and I've been a case manager at Job and Family Services for 6 years. Currently, I work in the Rapid Response Unit, and I've had the opportunity to take the lead in several different projects. I take pride in knowing how to work through other people to get the desired results. I'm adaptable. I welcome new challenges. I look forward to taking my skills and knowledge to the next level, which is why I applied for this Emerging Leaders cohort. Thank you for investing in my professional development.
Wow.
I'm going to take things back over to Ms. Joy Bivens.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much to all the graduates. I want to publicly thank the training team for being agile enough to think outside the box in order for us to not disrupt this program this year. And they were really, really hands-on. Commissioners, as you all know, this program is one of the programs, not only do you learn about government, but you learn about your personal strengths and weaknesses. And I believe that through the Emerging Leaders Program, I would like to continue to see us develop leaders who can not just do tasks, but solve big problems. During this class, I've had some time to spend, not a lot of time as I've had, unfortunately, in the past, because my boss likes me working around the clock. In the past.
Positive trouble.
With this class.
There's no proof to that.
You can't do everything yourself.
So with this class, I believe that these are budding transformational leaders. I think that as we develop people, we have to move away from being transactional, right? And in order to do that, you have to not just understand the work, but you have to understand what is within you as an individual. And that's one of my passions. I'm so glad that Gabrielle was able to work with each and every one of them. This is the first time I have not been accused of being a hazer. So thank you all for guarding your words. Because it's all done in love, but we push our leaders, right? We're supposed to push them for them to be great. And I think that's what it is, right? Each and every, you as commissioners, you push me, and as well as our county administrator pushes me outside of our comfort zone. So I just want to say congratulations to all the graduates. Thank you so much for allowing us to continue on this trajectory. And thank you to Gabrielle and her team for doing a phenomenal job and working with these individuals.
President O'Grady, I've got a question.
Please.
I'd like from any one of the graduates, tell us what it's like working for Joy Bibbins.
Mark Kovac, look at Mark Kovac. He's like, I got
Can any one of them speak about? Oh, I got some emails here that say they'll email me offline on that answer. So I'll leave it at that. Let me just say to I couldn't resist. Let me just say to the graduates, congratulations. Being a part of a leadership program is one thing, but quite frankly, it's what you do after that matters most. Use what you've learned to employ those skills both in the office and in your community. Use what you've learned to build on your own career and take your next steps. And most importantly, use what you've learned to help the Board of Commissioners strengthen Franklin County so that we really can be the best place in America to live, work, and raise a family, because that's what we strive to do. And your role and your work will play an important part of that. So I want to thank you all for participating. I want to recognize Director Bivens for her leadership in having the program. That does say a lot about your leadership, and you are to be commended to, ma'am. And congratulations to the entire group. Thanks.
Absolutely. And to add to what you've just said, Kevin, I would only add, take what you've learned and use it to help somebody else, and use that knowledge to really bring somebody else along, because that's what will also help us do even better. What you're doing is tremendous help to the county, and your leadership is going to change the trajectory of what we do. But you need to take that leadership skill and development that you've got and use it as you're mentoring the next leaders in the community. So I hope you will take that you've learned and teach somebody else. And I commend all of you. I think what you're doing is wonderful, and look forward to seeing you in your development as you go forward. And thank you, Director Bivens.
So, as my colleagues have said, and as Gabrielle said when she introduced this segment, 50. This only strengthens not only the JFS organizations, but county government in general. 50% of those that have graduated have gone on to promotions. But those that didn't go on to promotions still continue to strengthen the organization through their leadership. Some of those that have gone on to promotions have gone on to leadership and promotions in other agencies throughout county government. So, this is a fantastic program, and you guys will be beneficiaries of that program. The other thing, great presentations this morning, all of you. In particular, Tony, I was taken by your presentation, spreading sunshine, cheer, and positivity in the agency. That's what they say about me as a county commissioner. I'm that is known for spreading sunshine, cheer, and positivity. Of the three of us, I am the most sunshine, cheery, and positive of all of them.
You couldn't hear my laughter with my mute button on, but there was an audible gasp and laughter.
I took your words to heart, because everybody that knows me thinks of me in that way: sunshine, cheer, positive.
Commissioners and county administrator.
Just ask my children.
Commissioners and county administrator, I would be remiss if I did not make this request on record. I have wonderful colleagues as directors across the agency. I particularly have an affinity for Mr. Rob Young, because he is so intelligent. But I would ask, before we start swiping people, for them to, because I know he has a pin out of who he's going to take next to move after Job and Family Services. So I would just ask, just to let me know who you have on your list, because I know your pin is up, Rob Young, if you're on here.
Taking a shot at the HR director while he's not. Like, good for you, staking your claim and laying that lane law there, Director Bivens. Well, guys, congratulations to all of you. And I won't take a shot at Director Bivens like Commissioner Boyce did. I think she does a great job. So congratulations to all of you, each and every one, and bright things ahead for all of you. We're proud of each of you.
Hear, hear.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Great stuff, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now move on to and lunch today's on Director Bivens. So.
Oh, I second that motion.
You heard it, Mark Kovac, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Kovac's not allowed to accept anything of value.
Mark's going to do a story on the abuse of Director Bivens by the BLC, I think. So that's what she's working on.
All of us. You'll notice I did not say anything.
Way to throw. There's Commissioner Brown throwing everybody under the bus. All right. So now we needed a motion for the approval of the minutes of the November 19th and December 17th, 2019 general sessions, the July 23rd, 2020 briefing session, and the July 20th, 22nd, and 24th, 2020 administrative briefings.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
The minutes have been approved. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. To the county auditor, and I noticed that County Auditor Stenziano is with us this morning.
Resolution number 481-20. Resolution authorizing a second amendment to the procurement card program policy and procedures.
You're muted, Mr. Auditor. Welcome. Dean, we seem to have. Did something happen when everybody jumped off at one time, Dean?
It looks like there might be a few people trying to speak at once. Hold on one second for me, please. Mr. Auditor, do you have a cell phone near your computer by chance?
I do.
All right,
On the union contract for the corners.
all right. So everyone should be muted. You'll need to unmute your line. Mr. Auditor, you can unmute yourself.
How's that, Dean?
Fortunately, I think it's definitely your line, Mr. Auditor.
This is new technology, technological difficulty we haven't had in the past.
So
You're on mute.
you're still muted, sir. And it looks like you're dialed in twice. I'm not sure what to do with it.
Hey, Mike, do you want to jump off and jump back on, and we'll come back to you as soon as you come in, and we'll
I
move
closed
on.
one else, and I think that might have solved the problem.
There we go.
Here we go. It did. What did you
I
say you did?
apologize.
What did you say you
Don't
did, Mike?
I don't know what I did, but I'm glad it's working.
Yeah, it is working. Okay, go ahead. You are.
Good morning, commissioners.
Before we do that, Dean, do you want to read the resolution into the? Oh, you did already.
I did, Commissioner. We're good.
Go ahead, Mr. Auditor.
That's what happens when I get to go first. I apologize. Good morning, Commissioners Brown, Commissioner President of the committee.
Don't you worry.
I'm Michael Stenziano, your Franklin County Auditor, and I'm pleased to present Resolution 481-20, seeking your approval this morning. In presenting this resolution, we are coordinating under Ohio Revised Code Section 301.29, which provides the Auditor's Office the opportunity to advise the Board on adopting a procurement card policy, otherwise known as the P card. By way of background, the Board passed a P card policy and procedures in 2014. and then did a first amendment in 2017. This will be a second amendment and represents a well-rounded policy update, including provisions such as modifying the procurement card oversight committee structure, clarifying various types of allowed and unallowed transactions, and introducing the potential for personal liability for any late fees or taxes incurred by cardholders. And I'd like to take a second to address that additional point on late fees. The previous original policy in the First Amendment did not expose the county to any late fees. Our bank decided that they would like to see us pay some late fees. And so that was part of the ongoing negotiation. The stance that was a little surprising, but one that we coordinated. My concern being that every dollar spent on a late fee is one less dollar we're able to provide as a county for local governments, one less dollars towards essential public services. But given their stance, we were able to come to an agreement where the amendment provides for a $5,000 cap on late fees over the term of the contract. The policy, again, also tightens the oversight controls, such as requiring that agency-specific expenses be submitted and approved by the oversight committee prior to submitting, and empowering the procurement card administrator to seek personal reimbursement from card holders responsible for incurring any late fees. Because the committee has established adequate controls to reduce public taxpayer money liability for late fees, I do think it's in the interest of the board to pass this second amendment to the Franklin County Procurement Card Program Policy and Procedures in its entirety. Pending any questions or comments, I recommend that the board pass the resolution.
I got a couple of questions. Good morning, Auditor Cinziano. How are you?
Better now that I'm not echoing. Good morning, Commissioner.
Good. Love your kitchen cabinets back there. Everything's looking good, sir. So who sets the policy for purchasing structure on the P cards? Is that you as the auditor?
So it's a collaboration. There's a procurement advisory board, and so it's what that board comes to resolution on, essentially.
Okay. I don't want to take the time in this meeting, but I maybe offline we'll just have our staffs connect on a couple of things. We've had a couple of minor issues that it might be an opportunity to work through. I never thought of actually working through the auditor to try to share some of those concerns. The second question, so I'll do that another time. The second question I have, though, is why would we be late? Why would the county be late for paying? How does that happen?
So I can't speak exactly to how it always occurs, but we are aware that previous agencies weren't paying even upon notification. And so late fees in theory could have incurred, but there was no penalty or retribution for it. So I think we just kind of got out of a good practice. Again, we feel this amendment gets us more aligned and not allowing for late fees to occur. I think we've got appropriate policies and procedures in place to limit that exposure now that there is penalties involved.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to speak for my colleague, but certainly for me, let us know how we can support that, because that's you're right. That's a fees being paid on late fees, just that doesn't make sense. If we can pay in a timely manner, it's probably a logistical thing from the agencies to however the process works. So be happy to work with you and support you on that. But these look like good amendments. Thanks for bringing them forward.
I think it makes sense.
Yep. If there are no further comments or questions, I got to pull up my resolution back. I hate this. When I do this, it goes to this mode. Okay. 481. So if there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 481-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 481-20 has been adopted. Thank you, Mr. Auditor.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Michael. And on to the engineer. Welcome, Engineer Robertson. We have a public hearing for the next resolution. Clerk Hindenline, can you please read the public hearing?
Resolution regarding plans approval for the improvement of the Mernon Road Drainage Outlet, Prairie Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Good morning, Commissioners. Cornell Robertson, Franklin County Engineer for every resident, every day. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Commissioners, if you like, I can describe the project a little bit while you see if there are anyone in the audience who would like to speak about the project.
Please do. Moran Road is on the far west side of Perry Township, yes?
Moran is in the, yes, it's in the southwestern part of the county. It's near this intersection is going to be basically at Cool Wine Road and Moran. And then the project will outlet into Hamilton Run. So this is a drainage improvement project. And if the subsequent resolution is approved, then I will deliver a title sheet Mylar later today for you all to approve and sign. And then that'll allow us to move forward with the project and schedule the bid opening and construction.
All right. I'd like to open the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone on the video conference or in the audience on telephone who would like to speak to this public hearing? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 482-20, plans approved for the improvement of the Moran Road drainage outlet, Prairie Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
All right, so the engineers already briefed the resolution. If we could get a motion for adoption.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 482-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady. Commissioner, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Resolution number 482-20 has been adopted.
All right, we have a second public hearing, so if the clerk might please read the public hearing into the record.
Resolution regarding plans approval for the improvement of the Clark State Road at Long Streth Park Place Drainage Project, Jefferson Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
All right, this is the other side of the county. So, Mr. Engineer, if you want to go ahead and brief this public hearing as well, resolution.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, this project is also a drainage improvement. It is in the northeast part of the county in Jefferson Township, closer to the intersection of Hamilton Road and Clark State Road, and will outlet into Rocky Fork Creek. And this is a similar situation in that if the subsequent resolution is approved, then I'll deliver this title sheet as well for your approval and signature, and then we'll move into the construction phase, schedule bid opening, and then construction will follow soon after.
All right, I'd like to read the public hearing for this, I'd like to open the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone in the audience on the video conference or on telephone who would like to speak to this public hearing? All right, hearing none and seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 483-20, plans approved for the improvement of the Clark State Road at Long Streth Park Place Drainage Project, Jefferson Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
If there are no, should I go? Is it my turn?
Yeah.
It's your turn, sir.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 43-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 483-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 484-20, resolution awarding contract and approving contract bond to Axis Civil Construction LLC for the Man Road over tributary to Rocky Fork Creek in the amount of $499,606.22.
Commissioners, this is a construction contract award for Man Road Bridge. This is a cooperative project with Jefferson Township. We had a competitive bid on June 30th. We had 4 bidders, and Axis had the lowest and best bid.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 44-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 484-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 485-20, resolution authorizing the Franklin County engineer to enter into a contract modification with Moody Engineering LLC for engineering services, an increase of $33,000 for a revised contract amount of $83,000.
As stated, this is a design contract modification with Moody Engineering. We propose that Moody Engineering help us with the design of the Cook Tri-County Ditch Improvement. This is a collaboration with Licking County and Delaware County. A portion of this cost can be recouped through the petition ditch assessment process. So we recommend your all's approval.
Okay, if there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 45-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 485-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 486-20, report first of the Franklin County engineer establishing terms of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting the Man Road 0.50 over tributary to Rocky Fork Creek, JEF-TR 107-0.50, Jefferson Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $144,116.96.
Commissioners, as stated, this is the first report for right-of-way acquisition for the previously mentioned Man Road Bridge over a tributary of Rocky Fork Creek. This particular resolution includes 5 properties. The appraisals were based on fair market value, and the amounts of compensation have been agreed to by the property owners.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 46-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 486-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 487-20, report first of the Franklin County engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting the Refugee Road 5.99 over Big Walnut Creek Improvement Project, Madison Township and Truro Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $12,310.
Commissioners, this is a similar resolution. However, it's the first report for right-of-way acquisition for Refugee Road Bridge. This particular resolution includes 1 property. And again, the appraisal was based on fair market value, and the amount of compensation has been agreed to by the property owner.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 487-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 487-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 488-20, report first of the Franklin County engineer establishing sums of compensation damages for a portion of the owners, for a portion of the owners on the Olentangy River Road 11.40 over Carhart Ditch Improvement Project, Sharon Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $2,123.75.
Commissioners, yet another report for right-of-way acquisition, very similar, however, has some differences. This resolution includes 1 property owner, and the appraisal was based on fair market value. However, the amount of compensation was not agreed to by the property owner. Therefore, the amount will be deposited with the Clerk of Common Pleas, which will allow us to continue negotiations. And we hope to arrive to an agreeable amount.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 48-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 488-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 489-20, report 9th of the county engineer establishing the sum of compensation and damages for a property owner in the matter of the improvement of Reynoldsburg, New Albany Road at Clark State Road in the amount of $18,784.
Commissioners, another resolution for right-of-way acquisition. Again, many similarities, but yet a third variation of the right-of-way acquisition process. This resolution includes 1 property. The appraisal was based on fair market value. We were not able to agree to that amount, so we deposited the fair market value with Clerk of Common Pleas, continued negotiations included Ron O'Brien, Prosecuting Attorney's Office, and this resolution represents the settlement amount, which will prevent us all from going to court for further negotiations. We do recommend your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 49-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 489-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 490-20, preliminary allocation and final encumbrance of county motor vehicle license fee, a $5 fund for the village of Urban Crest, and the amount of $4,654. Excuse me.
Commissioners, this is a $5 fund resolution with the village of Urban Crest to help repave Augustus Drive, Central Avenue, and First Avenue. This will be combined with the Small Governments Infrastructure Improvement Fund, as you all approved in our 2020 budget. And it was most recently noted in the Franklin County Engineers Anti-Racism and Equity Program. This will help us ensure that we do work in an equitable way all across Franklin County. Appreciate your partnership.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 490-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady. Commissioner, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, sir. Thank you. Resolution number 490-20 has been adopted. Resolution 491-20, preliminary allocation and final encumbrance of county motor vehicle license fee, a $5 fund for the city of Groveport in the amount of $380,000.
Commissioners, this is a similar $5 fund resolution with the city of Groveport. And this particular project will include Hamilton Road between London Groveport Road and Lowry Court, as well as Bixby Road between Hamilton Road and Dorchester Street. Would recommend your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 491-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 491-20 has been adopted.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate your patience with our long list of resolutions.
Thank you.
Don't let it happen again, Mr. Engineer. I'm just kidding. Thank you.
All right, on to the sheriff. Thank you, Mr. Engineer.
It means progress in the county.
Resolution number 492-20, resolution authorizing the acceptance of an Ohio Drug Law Enforcement Fund grant for the Franklin County Drug Task Force in the amount of $250,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Masterson representing Sheriff Dallas Baldwin. This resolution authorizes the acceptance of the Ohio Drug Law Enforcement Fund grant. It will run from July 1st of this year to June 30th of 2021. It will allow the Sheriff's Office to continue to be the lead agency and grant administrator for this $250,000 grant designed to help combat the drug issue here in Franklin County. We have partnerships with Clinton Township, Reynoldsburg Police, Homeland Security, and the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. The cash match will be provided through deputy services tied to the task force. And pending any questions, I ask your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 492-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 492-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 493-20, resolution authorizing a settlement to Hayden Walter for a disputed vehicle damage claim due to an auto accident involving a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy in the amount of $538.87.
Commissioners, this is a damage claim from an accident that occurred on April 17th of this year. There is a bodily injury claim that is still outstanding that will be resolved at a later date. As mentioned, it offers payment in $538.87 to close out the damage claim portion. and it's been recommended through the county prosecutor and fleet management, as well as the your claims adjuster Riddle, Hill, and Zimmerman. If any questions, I ask approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 493-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 493-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. On to economic development and planning.
Resolution number 494-20, resolution adopting the county's 2020 Housing and Urban Development Annual Action Plan, the HUD 2020 to 2024 Consolidated Plan, and amending the HUD 2019 Annual Action Plan.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Schimmer. I'm here with Mark Paxton this morning. And Commissioners, this resolution is important from the standpoint that it's going to cover three items that we want to make certain we get put in place. First of all is the 2020 Housing and Urban Development Action Plan. And Commissioners, this drives our direction as to where we're headed in the future. That leads us into a longer term plan, which is the 20 to 24 Consolidated Plan. And then finally, we need a amendment to the 2019 Annual Action Plan. I'm going to let Mark carry this forward.
Good morning, Commissioners. The county's 2020 action plan identifies how the county will expend 2020 funds allocated to it by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. This is by way of the Community Development Block Grant Program, which primarily benefits low-income individuals, the Home Partnership Program, which funds affordable housing opportunities, and the Emergency Solutions Grant, which provides funding to address homelessness. Under this plan, the county will allocate approximately $3.7 million to the following community development categories: $1.8 million for housing rehab, home ownership, construction of affordable rental apartments, $500,000 for economic development loan and development programs, $240,000 for public services, $300,000 for homeless prevention services, $100,000 for fair housing services, $400,000 for planning, admin, and compliance, $135,000 to county community housing development organizations, and $225,000 for home contingency projects. The governing document, as Mr. Schimmer alluded to, will be the county's 2024 Consolidated Plan. This identifies the county's goals, priorities, community needs, and development strategies to be used in constructing and determining the allocations made under those action plans. Primary purpose of the Consolidated Plan is to determine how HUD block grant funds should best be spent to meet the county's most pressing needs. The county plan's priorities were identified through 6 strategic planning sessions, which brought together residents, community organizations, and city and county staff. This by way of a resident survey, stakeholder focus groups, a needs assessment, and a market analysis. Through this process, the county identified the following priority needs for the CON plan: affordable housing preservation and development, promotion of economic development, promotion of community development, poverty reduction, equal access to housing, promotion of public services, senior services, youth services, homeless facilities and services, and public improvements and infrastructures. The Consolidated Plan and Action Plans are both located on the county's website under Economic Development. They're also available by contacting myself at the following phone number: 614-525-5578. Again, 614-525-5578. As Jim alluded to, we're also amending the 2019 plan. As the Commissioner is more than well aware, we received a number of Stimulus Act dollars from the U.S. Department of Treasury, as well as Housing and Urban Development. Under the first round, we received CDBG funding in the amount of $1.2 million. Under that $1.2 million, $500,000 was allocated to the Community Shelter Board. This to open new shelters and for social distancing. $75,000 was given to the Columbus Urban League for minority small businesses, and $626,000 was given to the Economic Community Development Institute. This is county-wide for all small businesses. In that program, we also added general funds, which allows us to serve also city businesses. Under ESG, the first round, we received $600,000. That also went to the Community Shelter Board. And then we've also received a second round of ESG funding. The county received $1.8 million from the Department of Housing and Development. The city also received $8.1 million. Community Shelter Board has submitted a proposal to the county that we're reviewing for the use of those dollars. So in respect to those different action plans, we respectfully request your approval of them.
Thank you, Commissioner Grady. May I ask questions?
Please.
Thank
Please.
you. Thank you, Mark and Jim. Thank you for your presentation. And this may not be the right time for this, but I would like to see a more in-depth analysis of exactly how those funds are spent and kind of what we're accomplishing. I think we do a really good job with this, with consolidated planning, from what I can tell. But the part I don't know is, you know, how many homes did we repair? How many first-time home buyers did we support? You know, how many, you know, rehabilitation projects did we have, and where are they, and who has them? And so I want to see a little more of those kind of results. And I want to be clear. I'm absolutely certain you're doing a great job with this, but I want to understand it more. Also, want to make sure that we spend our funds outside of Columbus. So when I see the consolidated plan for the city of Columbus and how much they spend, it should be noted that they're just Columbus, and then we're everything but Columbus, and that's a question. So that's a two-for there.
Commissioner Boyce, I'm really pleased to be able to be so positive about the fact that we can get you that information really quickly.
I'm sure.
We know it, we have it, we're happy to give it to you for certain. So we'll work on that and get it over to you.
Actually, Commissioner Boyce, we every year annually we present the CAPER Consolidated Action Plan Review document. That's due this year at the end of September, and that covers all the information requesting. So that has all outcomes. Obviously, HUD has specific outcomes that they dictate that we have to respond to, but that document will give you every linkage to every dollar spent by the county in respect to what the outcomes were. So what I can do in the interim is I can give you an interim report, but at the end of September will be the final annual report for the 2019 program year, which runs from April through March for our program.
Great. I don't want to. I can wait for that. I mean, I just want to make sure that I see it and understand. I just personally want to better understand it and where we're. I want to be able to drive by something and say, oh, I remember we funded that or whatever. And so I can wait till the report comes out in September. I don't want to add any additional work to you if it's just a couple months of waiting. So that'd be fine. But then my second question was, I want to make sure Columbus, our funds don't go toward Columbus, do they? It's everything but Columbus, or some of it does?
The only dollars that the county utilizes inside Columbus proper is in respect to homelessness, because obviously the shelters are located there, supportive services are located there, but every other dollar occurs in the balance of the county outside the city. And that's a clear demarcation because both obviously the city and county are grantees from that Department of Housing and Urban Development. Correct.
Great. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
And I do have a question. Mark and Jim, I know you do a wonderful job of analyzing where the needs are. Will you be sharing with us the recommendations on this latest proposal that the shelter board has? And are there other uses for those dollars that we are getting from the CARES Act for shelter?
It expands upon the initial proposals that we utilized $600,000 for. Mr. Janis is in a loop on this. And so the other thing that's occurring, it hasn't become law yet, but the Republican proposal is actually talking about dollars that have not been utilized and potentially expanding the purpose for that. So, and that's obviously fully ingrained in the Democratic proposal as well. So we're hoping to receive some flexibility in regards to that. But what I can do immediately is I can share with all the commissioners the proposal that the Community Shelter Board did propose forward to us. And it not just covers our 1.8 million, but also the 8.1 million from the city. So you're talking about 9.9, practically $10 million.
Commissioner Brown, we have had a good conversation with Deputy Administrator Janis about our direction, and we're happy to share that with you moving forward.
And with the ESG dollars, is there anything else that can be done with those ESG dollars as well? Or does it have to go to one agency, the Community Shelter Board? Is that something that we have a choice on, or is it specifically for the Community Shelter Board?
We do have the discretion to do that. Obviously, the Community Shelter Board is the bellwether as far as all the expertise in the community. It represents 60 different agencies. So what we do is we obviously do not rubber stamp that. We obviously have a critical review of the proposal, but that's normally where we start. We go to where the expertise is in the community, Commissioner.
Okay, I just curious. I just
Certainly
wasn't sure what where we were with that. So thank you. I know you do that critical review, and I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Boyce.
I'm sorry.
We're at 4-20, sir.
Right, I know. I just got to pull it up just so I can stay with it. It's just helpful to me.
Of course.
As I go, because I like to look over it as we go. Okay, sorry. Here we go. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 494-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 494-20 has been adopted.
Thanks, gentlemen. Job and Family Services.
Resolution number 495-20, resolution authorizing a settlement of a disputed claim for bodily injury to Tangeray M. Shaw and her passenger, Ryan Nelson, in an auto accident involving a Franklin County Job and Family Services employee in the amount of $13,500.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Turner, Assistant Director. This accident occurred on February 14th, 2020, when one of our employees was driving northbound on I-71 behind Mrs. Shaw's vehicle. Both vehicles were slowing to stop for blocking traffic ahead of them when our vehicle struck her vehicle. Franklin County has negotiated a settlement in the amount of $6,000 with Ms. Shaw and $7,500 with Mr. Nelson for injuries suffered in the accident, and both have accepted contingent upon your approval. This claim was processed through Fleet Management, and the file has been reviewed and claim recommended by the prosecutor's office. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 495-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 495-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 496-20. Resolution authorizing a non-general fund supplemental appropriation for an extension of the server migration project and other operating expenses.
Commissioners, we are requesting $650,000 in non-general fund appropriations within the Material and Services Fund. Business closures and reprioritization, I can't say the word, for orders from suppliers due to the COVID-19 pandemic have made it difficult for us to acquire the necessary parts, equipment, and support to complete our server migration within the time frame we had originally proposed for our 2020 budget. We have also incurred increased operating expenses related to COVID-19, as well as unanticipated property tax payment. We have sufficient resources available from the unappropriated cash balance at the start of the year. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
Yeah, so my question is, Commissioner O'Grady, may I?
Please.
Yep. So my question is, you said that some of these are related to COVID-19 issues. So are we using CARES Act dollars, or is it other funds to address the use of those expenditures?
I can't say for certain, Commissioner Boyce, but I believe it is other funds and not CARES Acts. But I can confirm that with you after we get off the after I get off the call this afternoon with our fiscal department.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to ensure that we are putting to use all of the best we can, the federal dollars that have come through CARES Act in the right way. We've got a really tight timeline to expend those dollars of December 31st. And even though they're considering expanding the deadline for the use of those funds, we have to assume they're not at this point. And so I guess I'm speaking to the administration. I hope that we're analyzing all funds like this and utilizing CARES Act dollars first, and then whatever general fund resources we might have.
Commissioner Boyce, President O'Grady, Commissioner Brown. JFS's fiscal team is communicating with OMB periodically, and their time in the reimbursements where appropriate to credit the coronavirus special revenue fund that was created for the deposit of those dollars when they were received from U.S. Treasury. As you remember, a few weeks back, we did a quarterly true-up, a reconciliation where Director Tallerick worked with all the agencies to record all of the coronavirus relief eligible expenses and credit them back to that account.
So that's helpful, Administrator Wilson, but just want to be clear, you often you're so technical about everything, but so these funds we are going to be able to reconcile the use of CARES Act dollars for these things, or you're still analyzing that?
I'm fairly confident looking at the resolution and based upon the availability of CARES Act dollars at this time, we will be able to account for all of the COVID-19 expenditures, aka coronavirus expenditures. We'll be able to account for all of those.
And if I might just add, Commissioner O'Grady, I think that it's important that we are even if, and I'm sure you're doing this, but I want to make sure we are, because I'm in tune with the Washington conversation about next resources and other things. And I think it's important for us to just apply as much things as we can to COVID-19 so that whatever the federal government does, we can have that easy alignment. And so I'm glad you're confident on that. And I hope that, again, we're really using that as sort of our first line of defense in terms of spending. And because I think come fourth quarter, we'll need all the general funds that we can get this year.
Yeah, Commissioner Boyce, yes, I'm confident that due to the number of COVID-19 expenditures that we have, that we are in a position to be able to draw down that initial installment. And matter of fact, advocate vigorously for additional revenue from Congress, because this is going to go well into 2021. And yeah. I know during yesterday's conversation with Senator Portman, for example, the Metropolitan County Commissioners made that point, and that was one of the advocate points, that we need additional flexibility. More time is great, but we also need additional revenue from the federal government if any way possible, because these costs are going to continue to go all the way through 2021.
So yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Sorry. So yesterday afternoon, we had a fairly lengthy conversation with Senator Portman. My presentation to Senator Portman was regarding the need for additional funds in the next the next round of funding. Made certain to make sure that the senator is aware of the fact that Franklin County will have somewhere in the neighborhood of $30 to $40 million in CARES Act expenses in 2020, that we expect in 2021 to have major expenses as well. Also was very careful to make sure that the senator understands that Franklin County was one of a handful of counties around the country whose funding was hampered by the formula that was used by the Treasury Department, and that while the city and the county were viewed separately, and because of the size of our city of Columbus, Franklin County was portion was dramatically lower than we believed it should have been. That we need to address that in the upcoming round. Lauren Rummel and Eric Janis are going to continue to work with his staff. We think that his staff and no offense to Senator Portman, it's a complex issue. We think that his staff definitely understands it. We want to make sure that the senator understands going forward the complexity of that issue, so that doesn't happen again in the next round. Because we think that Franklin County should have gotten considerably more money than we did in the first round. And so we're going to, obviously Senator Brown and his staff are on board with that. We think Senator Portman's staff understands that clearly. We want to make sure that Senator Portman himself understands it as well. So we had a pretty lengthy and good conversation about that yesterday afternoon. And other commissioners on the call expressed the point to Senator Portman, and I think was very understanding and was very much interested in the conversation regarding the flexibility of the expenditure of these dollars, as well as the need for our ability to, be able to receive more in the future. So it was a good call. We were on for, he originally gave us about 40 minutes, or 30 minutes, but we went well past 40 minutes on the call with him yesterday. So it turned out to be good. So
Commissioner O'Grady, if I could just add.
Sorry, Kevin, or Commissioner Boyce, we have a call. We're working on a call with Senator Brown now. So sorry.
No problem. Thank you, Commissioner Grady. And again, I really think we have some good conversations going. As you all know, I was reappointed as chairman of the Finance, Pension, and Intergovernmental Affairs Committee for NACO, the National Association of Counties. And we had a large committee call yesterday as well, where Senator Schumer's office came on and gave some sort of inside track comments and information about, and it really mirrors what you were saying, Commissioner O'Grady. The one thing I think that we have to really think about and prepare for, and we're on this resolution of COVID-19 expenditures. The one thing that we also have to sort of prepare for is the idea that the feds don't do anything else. There is a growing perspective, and this was directly reported from Senator Schumer's office, that, and I'll just say the majority party in the U.S. Senate are looking at ways to do another stimulus package where $0 go directly to local governments. And so I want us to be thoughtful about, because, and this is, I'm going to get back to you, Ken, I want us to be thoughtful about really applying expenditures to the COVID-19 experience, because it's important that when we begin to make decisions, those tough decisions that we maybe have to make in the fourth quarter of this year, first quarter of next year, I think it will be important to help the public understand why we're doing that and how we got there and where these expenses were. And so while we're hopeful that the feds will do this, there are some signals of otherwise. And I think we just should be thoughtful about that as things begin to reconcile through third and fourth quarter of this year. Because I think we're going to see a very dramatic reconciliation of our tax lag versus our expenditures versus even the COVID-19. I mean, think about it. We don't have a vaccine yet. We haven't. So we're not even on the upswing of all of this as of yet. And we're, heading into this third quarter where I think things are going to be reconciled from the first quarter and the second quarter with regards to our tax lag. So lots on our, we're only from a budgetary standpoint, I feel like we're only at the very beginning of what's going to be a very challenging 12 months beginning now.
We see a couple months of what this coronavirus has caused in the economic reduction associated with the public health actions we had to take. So we are, in fact, county administration and OMB, we are conscious and we're evaluating this as we go. But we do feel like we are going to be able to effectively leverage all of the dollars that were provided in the first installment. And yes, there is an understanding that the bill that was introduced yesterday by the Senate majority is $1 trillion and does not contain any direct relief to local governments, whereas the House version that was passed back in May is $3 trillion. So we got to remain conservative yet optimistic that they meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and then keep in mind the president, the presidential election and potentially a change in the White House. I mean, this could get really, really sticky for us on so many levels, and I just want us to be thoughtful about how we're spending money and really assigning things to COVID-19 cost versus our normal ongoing expenditures. And it's one thing for us to have to make repairs on a facility of some sort unknown for a year, but it's another thing to just address this COVID-19 environment stuff. So I think we're all just really singing out the same hymnal. I think we're all on the same page, and we just it's a wait and see thing from here. So,
yeah, thank you.
Yep, thanks, Commissioner O'Grady.
Thank you.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 496-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 496-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 497-20. Resolution approving sub-award amendments with Action for Children, the Homeless Families Foundation, and Young Men's Christian Association of Central Ohio for the Spark Kindergarten Readiness Programs in the amount of $749,043.99.
Yes, commissioners, we know that parents and caretakers are their child's first and often most important teacher. Spark, or Supporting Partnerships to Assured Ready Kids, is a family-focused intervention program that is designed to equip families with the knowledge and skills to ensure their children are ready to enter and thrive in kindergarten. Professional parent partners meet families where they are and provide monthly lessons to help evaluate children's early reading, language, and social skills. With the onset of the pandemic, Spark providers have shifted from home visits to virtual visits using laptops or mobile devices. All lessons are based upon the early childhood learning content standards. While the partners quickly pivoted to virtual visits at the onset of the pandemic, they also have been mindful about measuring the impact of that pivot. Children underwent baseline testing at the beginning of the program and will be completing post-testing in the coming weeks, and the partners will have qualitative data to evaluate. Based upon anecdotal data, both parents and children and Spark parent partners have responded well to the new virtual environment. They still face a few challenges, but some children, including a child with autism, have been more attentive in the virtual platform, using the virtual platform. One parent noted because she is at home more often now, she is able to take better advantage of the lesson packages. Another parent expressed that their child's enrollment in Spark has helped them become more motivated and enthusiastic about getting to take part in routine schoolwork because they see their older siblings participating in virtual school courses. Under this new agreement, the Spark Collaborative will target approximately 330 TANF-eligible 3 and 4-year-olds and their families across Franklin County. Spark also supports the 11th recommendation of our poverty blueprint. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
Vivian, this is so critically important. I'm really happy that we're doing this, getting these children, these early learners ready for kindergarten is so important. Are we looking at certain areas of the community that we're focused on to get these children in the program?
Yes, so with the three partners, they actually collaborate together, and they actually do have distinctive parts of the county that they specifically target.
And we're
And thirdly,
looking at areas where they've been underserved in.
absolutely.
Okay.
In lower income communities and in communities where we don't see as much enrollment in early childhood learning.
Right. This is so needed. It's really, and I like that you're collecting the data. I'll be interested in the post-test and see how these children are doing.
Absolutely. We'll be sure to get that information to you.
Great.
Yeah, I agree with you, Commissioner Brown. This is critical work. I got to tell you, this is this kind of investment that is my favorite part of being a part of Franklin County. When you see this kind of work, because I know personally how these kind of resources can be the difference to a family, to a child, and the slightest opportunity for them can make the most of their life. I know that personally, and so when I see these kind of things, I just get my heart flutters because I just know the impact we're having by making this investment. It's real and it's important. So I'm enthusiastic about it as well. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 497-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 497-20 has been adopted.
Thank you very much, commissioners, and stay safe.
You too.
Thank you, Vivian. You as well. Community partnerships.
Resolution number 498-20, resolution authorizing a COVID-19 grant to the Mid-Ohio Food Bank in support of expanded service to Franklin County residents in the amount of $1,500,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dana McCrary, Administrator, Community Partnerships. I'm so pleased to be here this morning to introduce this resolution with a contract for Mid-Ohio Food Bank. They have really stood up in the community and arisen to meet the needs that people have faced in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many people have been laid off of their jobs, haven't had the opportunity to work. And so I know that the food bank has really seen incredible increases in the demand for their services. For example, we know that since March 1st, there has been a 30% increase in food distribution. And the food bank has also provided an additional 2.3 million additional pounds of food per month. So supporting this resolution will allow the food bank to purchase purchase commodities to keep pace with this increased demand, as well as bring on board additional staffing resources to help meet this need. I'm pleased this morning that we have Matt Habash with us, President and CEO of the Mid-Ohio Food Bank. We're so fortunate to have Matt and his leadership with our food bank that has really done amazing work in providing healthful, wholesome foods for families, including fresh produce and dairy, in addition to shelf-stable items. So I welcome Matt, and I invite him to just give a few remarks about this $1.5 billion grant and what it will enable the food bank to do in our community.
Thanks, Dana, and thank you to all the commissioners this morning. I've enjoyed listening to your entire meeting, and I'm glad it's you and not me. Just to give you a sense of the numbers that to fill in a little bit more from Dana's introduction of this, as of yesterday, we have had over 300,000 visits to pantries in Franklin County. We have served 78,284 families. And the most startling thing is 18,724 of those families are new to our system collecting data. So we have not, these are people who have never, ever asked for help before. And if you multiply that by slightly over 3, you're going to find out how many different individuals have received food. So we started early. Back in March, we ordered 135 tractor trailer loads of food and other grocery products, went on a search early, a lot earlier than a lot of other food banks, so that we could have food in here in addition to the government foods that were coming and into the tremendous amount of produce that we bring in. We're just now starting to see some of the stimulus food over the last month that was promised in the very first stimulus bill. So it turned out to be the right call. Unfortunately, it was about $3.5 million of food purchasing that wasn't in our budget, that we went ahead and said, we got to have food here to make sure that nobody goes hungry. We've also had to change our entire business model. It's now a no-touch model. Nobody touches anything. We've had a tremendous help, and this is the biggest concern we have going forward over the next months, is whether or not the Guard is going to be continued. We've had 100 National Guards people helping us, whether it's distribute food downstairs in the pantry that we have, or whether it's distributing food to senior citizens, packing 27,000 emergency boxes, delivering food to the homeless meals, or for the homeless downtown. We took over cooking all the meals for the expanded sheltered meals downtown, and we're going to continue that. We just had a conversation yesterday. We're just continuing that. We're doing all that with our kitchen staff, that in addition to the summer meals that they do, and then whatever they'll do in the fall once they decide what's going to really happen with school. But we're probably going to continue that on. So this is all about how we continue over the next several months. I share all the commissioners' concerns. January scares me because I had Senator Portman here a week ago taking the tour. We had an Undersecretary of Agriculture. I testified in front of the House Agriculture Committee subcommittee last week, and all of them said there's no plan post December 31st for food. And we had trade mitigation food in addition to the stimulus food. So we had a lot of food coming in because of all the trade mitigation issues. All of that ends December 31st. So come January, if they don't add additional dollars to help all of you into that package, they put nothing in there for food at all going forward either. So that's the concern we have, is that the unemployment numbers continue to stay where they are. We're looking at this as a 2 to 3 year runway. We are really trying to plan for that length of time. We did this back in the recession of 07, 08, 09, and took a very long view. Even some of the dollars we've had donated, we're just telling the donors, we're going to spread those dollars out over the course of time, because we don't want to get into the January and have a huge issue. So that's the concern that we have right now. So this dollars, even if the Guard gets extended, it looks like it will be 50 or less. They scheduled to leave August 7th. So we hired 20 people yesterday as temporaries to come in and help. We're slowly bringing back volunteers, but half our volunteers are corporate volunteers. And one of the challenges with that is corporations, as you saw from Nationwide, they pulled all their people back out of the offices that they just put there. So we're not going to have a lot of corporate volunteers. We do have some volunteers that are willing to come. We are practicing all kinds of social distancing. We will go to a night shift, so we can have volunteers in the evening come in, spread them out, so we can do all the social distancing. So that's what the dollars are going to be. Continue the food flow, help pay for additional staffing, so that we can, in fact, continue this work, and all the additional cleaning that we're doing. We've cleaned our building twice a day, every day, and a deep clean on Wednesdays and Sundays. So we are making sure that we can stay open. Food banks have run into big COVID problems and had to close. We've had some episodes. We've managed to contain those and to continue the meals. So we're going to continue to go. We have also are checking in with every school district, all of them in Franklin County. I actually have 101 school districts across the 20-county footprint that we have. We're checking in with every one of them as they decide what their school plans are going to be, so that we can look to see how we can partner with them, address additional distributions for things that we have. So that I appreciate the support and the willingness, to consider this request.
We just can't have hungry children and families. We just can't. So thank you for what you're doing. And we'll do our part to help out, but we can't have hungry families in our community. I mean, who are we as a community if we allow that to be? hungry families that have no place to live. It's just unacceptable. And so what you do, Matt, makes a huge impact in the community. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown.
If I could just add too, we are very fortunate to have you, Matt, as the leader in this time. I think that we couldn't be positioned better to really think through what these next couple of years will look like, and by having you as a leader. And I agree with Commissioner Brown. That's a frontline issue for us, and that's food. And I know Commissioner O'Grady is passionate about this as well. But we'll have to do everything we can to make sure that no family goes hungry, and we do the best we can to provide those resources to you. So I want to encourage you to stay fully engaged with us as minutely as you want to, so that we can get ahead of what shortfalls may come, even if it's a month out or 2 months out. If you see it and there's a way that we can get under it before it gets here, please don't hesitate to reach out. I know that you're one of those leaders that you find ways to do something, and you're very creative about how you go about it. But just know that you've got Franklin County as a partner in this. And I'm grateful to be a part of this grant, because I think it's meaningful more than just about anything that we can be doing. So thanks for what you're doing, and I'll be enthusiastically supporting this resolution today.
Thank you, Commissioner Boyce.
So, Matt, both of my colleagues are correct. First and foremost, in the 12 years I've been a county commissioner, we put those that are the least amongst us at the very forefront of all that we do. And certainly feeding people, clothing people, food assistance, rent assistance, cash assistance, sheltering folks and feeding folks are at the very forefront of everything that we do. And so the work that you do at the food bank is some of the most important things, or important that can be done. And we've partnered with you many, many times, but now is certainly one of those times that is critical. Secondarily, what Commissioner Boyce mentioned, your leadership now has, and over the last, certainly over your career, but your leadership and your partnership with for the last few years has been critical, and we appreciate you partnering with us and stepping up. We've been a partner with you for a long time, but certainly over the last couple of years, your willingness to step up and work with us through poverty work that we've been doing, and now through this pandemic, has been critical. So a career of leadership that you led has been fantastic, and we, the community appreciates that, but we as county commissioners appreciate you over the last couple of years, and certainly over the last few months. So thanks for that. We appreciate it.
Great.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 498-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 498-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
Okay, and we are on to justice policy and programs. Thank you, Dana.
Resolution number 499-20, resolution authorizing 5 sub-grant awards for prevention, preparation, and response efforts related to COVID-19 through the fiscal year 2020 coronavirus emergency supplemental funding program in the amount of $238,299.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael Daniels, Director of the Office, Justice Policy and Programs. The resolution before you authorizes 5 sub-grant awards. We've already distributed part of the monies from the 2020 coronavirus emergency supplemental funding. This is a continuation of that, and 5 additional awards, 3 of them primarily for personal protective equipment and cleaning supplies, 1 to the Public Defender's Office for additional staff, which are necessary now that we're doing arraignment. He would like to have, the public defender would like to have counsel both with the accused as well as in the arraignment courtroom. and the Court of Common Pleas some upgrades to their video technology. Pending any questions, we'd ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 499-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 499-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
All right.
Resolution number, sorry, Commissioner. Resolution number 500-20. Resolution authorizing Amendment 1 to the U.S. Bank Higher Education and Public Sector Program Terms and Conditions for Travel and Procurement Cards in the amount of $5,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry-Valinier, Director of Purchasing. Our first resolution is for the approval of a new P-card contract with U.S. Bank under the Higher Education and Public Sector, or HEPS program, pursuant to authority granted to the county under Ohio Revised Code, Section 9.48 Joint Purchasing Programs. The contract will be for a period not to exceed 5 years, and it will allow the county to continue its partnership with U.S. Bank for procurement and travel cards, which will offer continuity of services under similar terms and conditions as the current contract. There is no cost to the county for the base services. It is mentioned by Auditor Stinziana this morning. The parties have agreed to a not to exceed amount of $5,000 should the county be assessed any fees due to delinquent payment. The delinquent payments may occur in instances, for example, where cardholders have difficulty obtaining receipts, or if tax has been erroneously applied to a purchase. This is, however, a controllable contractual element. It's our intention to continue to provide comprehensive training to using agencies, as well as ongoing reviews of internal policies to ensure that while we're maintaining the highest degree of program oversight, there are no undue administrative barriers to achieving the county's standard of timely payments. The resolution requests that signature authority be delegated to the county administrator to sign the amendment as well as the underlying program member application. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge that this contract is before you as a result of a collaborative effort on the part of several county stakeholders, including county administration, OMB, the auditor's office, the prosecutor's office, and our P-card administrator, Wendy Crawford. I thank them all for their continued partnership with this program. And with that, pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 500-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 500-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 501-20. Resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $1,548,219.64.
Commissioners, this next resolution requests your approval of 70 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. This week, 9 out of 14 eligible POs totaling $148,179.75 are being presented for award to 3 small and emerging business enterprises, 2 women business enterprises, 1 local economically disadvantaged enterprise, and 3 minority business enterprises. This represents 64% of the eligible PO volume and 96% of the eligible PO dollar value. Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 501-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 501-20 has been adopted.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank
Megan. The Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 502-20. Resolution authorizing a final contract modification and extension in the amount of $5,500 to support the moving of the data center's print operations to the purchasing department's print shop.
Good morning, Commissioners. Juan Torres, Chief Information Officer. This resolution is a final contract modification and extension for a final milestone, which will include a final deliverable of documentation, best practices, and a closeout meeting to assist in the transition to internal staff within Franklin County to continue on the project. And so, any questions or requests for approval?
Commissioner Boyce, you're muted, sir.
Oh, sorry. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 502-20. Dean, why do you always look so annoyed when we mute ourselves? Dean always looks so annoyed at the commissioner. He's like, "You're muted."
Commissioner, I am never annoyed, sir.
I'm just kidding. He's like, "You're muted." I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'll second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Voting Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 502-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 503-20, a resolution to consent to the issuance of tax and lease revenue anticipation refunding bonds by the Franklin County Convention Facilities Authority.
Yes, good morning, commissioners, and thank you. I'm Jordan Edmonds, in-house counsel for the Franklin County Convention Facilities Authority. I'm joined today by Josh Grossman, CFA bond counsel with Dinsmore and Scholl. Resolution 503-20 requests consent for the issuance of not to exceed $210 million in tax and lease revenue anticipation bonds to support operations at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. The proceeds of the bond issuance will be used to refund 3 different series of bonds which were previously issued to finance construction of the convention center. The bonds will be supported by hotel motel tax collections and lease payments from the city and county under an existing lease sublease arrangement with the CFA. Pursuant to the lease sublease arrangement, the CFA is required to seek city and county consent prior to the issuance of any additional bonds. The refunding was designed to provide short-term cash flow savings in order to preserve the CFA's ability to meet operational needs during the current shutdown of the convention and meeting industry and the associated reduction of hotel motel tax collections. The issuance will also significantly decrease the potential that the CFA may need to draw upon the city and county's appropriation pledges for debt service obligations. Bank of America will serve as the senior managing underwriter. And while the CFA is still too early in the process to have formed an underwriting syndicate, it is our intention to invite Stifel Nicholas & Co., Loop Capital, and Blaylock Van to serve as co-managers. The CFA thanks you for your consideration and support of this resolution, and Josh and I would be happy to answer any additional questions you may have. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan. Commissioner O'Grady, may I ask a question?
Please.
Thank you. What was you might have said it, but you're kind of going kind of fast, so I was taking some notes. What's the present value savings equal on the refunding?
I don't have, Josh, do you have that in front of you?
I don't. We're still a little early in the process too, so that will change, but we can send you something after the meeting if you'd like that has the current present value savings.
That's helpful to know. I mean, I'm assuming that the market or industry practices generally anything above 3% warrants a refunding, and so I assume that it's above 3%. And if it's going to be able to help provide some liquidity for other debt service, I think that says enough. But it'd be nice when you report that just to have that, because I think it gives the public an illustration of what's actually happening when they can see, this is a refunding that allows us to do savings. Furthermore, if we had this is a good example of if we had advanced refunding capabilities, we could do the type of savings that advanced refundings allow us to do. Just like this, it saved money for the taxpayers and to be able to use that on other things. But because Congress took away advanced refundings in the last tax reform bill, it's one of those areas that literally can save millions of dollars over the course of time. And so it's important to just have those PV savings so that we can talk about it to the public so that they know this advocacy for advanced refunding is important to their quality of life. So thanks for what you do. If you could, I would like to know that I'm sure the underwriter of the Bank of America has that in their analysis.
Yeah, we'll follow up with you after this.
Perfect. And Jordan, you've been great on this, so thanks for all your follow-up. And I made sure to let Don Brown know you've been great to work with too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner.
Yep. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 503-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 503-20 has been adopted.
Great.
Thank you, gentlemen. Resolution number 504-20. Resolution authorizing a fiscal sponsorship agreement with the United Way of Central Ohio for the support of the Rise Together Innovation Center.
Good late morning, Commissioners. Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. This resolution before you would request your authorization as stated to enter into a fiscal agreement with the United Way of Central Ohio to support efforts of the Rise Together Innovation Center. As you all know, we're in the process of the Rise Together Innovation Center seeking its separate organization as a organization that will carry out the ongoing work of the Rise Together Franklin County blueprint to reduce poverty. This fiscal sponsorship that's proposed would give us the ability through the United Way, having them acting as the fiscal sponsor, to be able to solicit and receive gifts, grants, contribution, and other revenues that will support the work of the Rise Together Innovation Center's programs and efforts. So if there's no further questions, I would recommend passage of the resolution.
Are you kidding me? Of course there's questions. Commissioner O'Grady, may I?
Please.
Thank you. So I really think that I'm in favor of this. We've gotten a little bit of pushback out there because as we get into this poverty conversation, part of the national conversation is because there's so much implications with regards to race. Part of the national conversation is this idea that we can create these kinds of centers, we can create these kinds of efforts with folks that also are mostly steeped in this challenge. And so, you know, here we are at a point where we've got to move forward. United Way is a credible and important organization as far as this work goes. And so I am supportive of it. But I do want to just state the caution, not to the BOC, just for the general conversation in general, that as we put up the Innovation Center long term, as we develop the own model long term, that we do our best, and I know my colleagues agree with me on this, we do our best to ensure that the folks that we're working to impact the most are very much a part of what the organization and infrastructure looks like. And that's part of the feedback I'm getting out there. And so I just wanted to state that because I'm sure many of you have heard from some of those folks as well over the weekend and last week. Nonetheless, I am supporting this. I think it's important we move forward in the work. And the United Way is a trusted and fiscally sound agency that I think it makes sense for the time being.
I absolutely think it's important to move forward with the work and getting the work of the blueprint done. So if this will help with moving the work forward, let's get on with it.
And the Innovation Council that you all appointed has a strong hand in the direction in the charge that was laid out to them at the beginning of this process. The United Way services are going to be administrative in nature to handle all of the administrative and accounting requirements as this organization seeks to take those initial steps. So we are very focused and there's a clear understanding amongst the membership and the leadership of issues such as racial equity and what that means to the Board of Commissioners as we progress forward to make a difference in the community.
And that matters a lot as we move forward with all of the work that we do throughout the county. That equity lens is so critically important. So we need to get moving.
The Leadership Council is made up of a large number. I think is it 18 members who are experts in this area, led by Matt Habash, who was on earlier, and Trudy Bartley. Just a group of fantastic individuals who are leaders in this field, and we need to move this forward so that we continue to support the work that they do. The Department of Job and Family Services has been doing a fantastic job over the last many months, but we need to continue to support the Leadership Council. And we need to continue to move this ball down the field, and we need to continue to give them the tools that they need to continue to get this work done. And I think that everything that we do to support that effort is a wonderful thing. Anything that we do that might hold that effort back would be detrimental, and we don't want to do that as well. So this is exciting. It is very it is very purposeful, and it has been very, very thoughtful in its approach. It has been hampered to some degree by the pandemic, but let's make sure that we get moving. And they're a group of fantastic leaders, and they are out in search of a fantastic leader. So we need to encourage them all that we can and do all that we can to provide them the resources to make it happen.
Well, if there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 504-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 504-20 has been adopted.
Clerk Hendenlang, do we have any journalizations for today?
One this morning, Commissioner, by the Economic Development and Planning Department. Case number ANX-18-20, an expedited type 2 annexation petition, ANX-18-20, was filed with the Franklin County Economic Development and Planning Department on July 22nd, 2020. The petition is requesting to annex 0.8 acres, more or less, from Jefferson Township to the city of Gahanna. The petition will be considered by the Board of Commissioners on August 25th, 2020, site 5829 Taylor Road, PID number 170-000215.
Okay. And that concludes our business for the day. Unless there are questions from the media, I know we have Mark Kovac from the Columbus Dispatch on. Mark, do you have any questions today?
It's been a long meeting. I'll pursue my follow-ups offline.
All right. Is there any other media on the call that may have some questions? Well, then we will chat with everybody later. And by the way, to the question that were brought up earlier, apparently we do now have tentatively have a meeting set up with Senator Brown coming up. So that's good news as well.
Great.
All right. I'll keep everybody posted. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later. But it's just in the nick of time. My iPad was getting ready to die. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.